one and I stand on that. You and me, babe, that's black on black.
I'm not sure what kind of world we're in right now. And just as I was walking this morning listening to Malidoma Somé, I downloaded his book because I have the other one that I've been reading, Malidoma Patrice Somé. I downloaded Water and Spirit. And I was like, man, this is what I need. I spent a great deal of the day today when I came back from my walk talking about healthy, wealthy, wise, and kind of walking through the paces, getting the final things together. And I just want that to be an experience, because as I was speaking with Dr. Daniel Black this weekend, he was like, our people are starving. We need the connection, and we need the connection to self, to water, to spirit, to ancestors. And I grew up as a Baptist in a space where I guess inherently I kind of understood that this world, there was a metaphysical, this is what I just know in my spirit. But we're also kind of taught that stuff is of the devil, right? So Malidoma Somé is talking about his talisman that he carried around in his bag, and he had a whole medicine bag, and he would travel with it. And it was one embarrassing incident at an airport because he would never check it, but then they dumped out his bag, and looked through it, and they saw all of these weird little things in his bag that looked like quote unquote voodoo, and he became a spectacle, and he was talking about how embarrassed he was. But in his home of Burkina Faso, he said there's no word for fiction, and he's got a PhD in literature, but there's no word in his community for fiction. There's no word for supernatural. It just is. The Dagara people, they don't have a word for that. There's no fiction because all things are possible. They believe in transmutation and transportation and ghosts, and but those are ancestors. They believe in all of those things, the metaphysical, because it's part of their existence, right? And he said, you think about, we are taught that Africa is backwards, and that it is this is what he's talking about, that it's it's slow, it's backwards, but actually they see into the future, and technology wise, they all that's possible. Travel through time is possible. And I just think about, how we've been conditioned to separate ourselves from the spirit, from things that are not easily seen or known. But the manifestation of the unseen happens around us all the time. Magic happens all around us all the time. And I was grateful to be in community with Malidoma Somé today, and to be on these airwaves and to talk about it as, we think about it. For some of you listening, this may sound like, hockey puck, maybe this is not anything that makes any sense. But for me, it is the one missing piece to all of this, as we look at the wars and the rumors of war and all of the horrible things that people are doing to one another. This is at the crux, because he talks about people who are separated from their ancestors being of disease, And he said something that he said, people separate from their ancestors because they don't want to be attached to the debauchery and to the violence and to all of that. But you must connect with that and then heal your ancestors. And I was like, oh, what would that require? And then I was like, some of us need to do that in our own homes, in our own backyards, with our own family, as we come out of a holiday, which was really in many ways a celebration of family and gathering. How many of us have reconciled with the monsters in our own lineage? I'll say it like that. I was sitting down today to write about my grandfather, who sits over my shoulder, a very complicated man. And there was a part of me is like, should I talk about him? Yes, I'm going to talk about him because I need to talk about him, because that's part of the healing, right? So I'm going to write about him. I'm going to write about him and also kind of fill in the blanks, because of how he was as when I was growing up, I didn't really have an opportunity to get to know him and really embrace him, because a lot of us don't want to be in the presence of people who are complicated. You know, and I'm saying something when I say complicated, people who, but their complication means that they also have gone through some things. There's some pain, trauma, and hurt there. And when Malidoma Somé says that we have to heal our ancestors, I was like that. And that is the disease that is killing society, that we haven't reconciled with the past transgressions of the people that came before us. And we know scientifically, epigenetics, that things can live through generations that didn't happen to you. You carry the trauma of generations before without even knowing it. So I was just like, man, we got work to do. But at the same time, I'm excited to know and learn more. And it doesn't at all separate me from the higher power, from the creator. As a matter of fact, it makes the creator bigger for me, because now, and I can't wait to talk to Reverend Moss about this, Dr. Reverend Otis Moss. But when we are told that we can do greater things than he, when we're told that we're little gods, like, does that resonate with people? Do y'all believe in the power that you have inside of yourself to do more, to do everything, to do all of the things you can imagine? So I just wanted to start there. It's Motivational Monday. The number here is 866-801-8255. I also spent a great deal of time watching television. Y'all know that I'll be watching TV. I'll be watching some stuff. High on the Hog is back, season 2. And I was deep in it because as I was watching season 2, it's different. Season 1, they take you to the continent. You're on there. You're learning about okra and yams, and it's really about the food. This was food activism. So by the time you get to like episode 4, they're talking about the Black Panther Party, and I was sitting there, knowing the little bits of pieces of things that I know. And again, I read, so I know some things, but I sometimes we don't connect all of the dots. So of course, I've talked about Fred Hampton on these airwaves, and the food program and the education program, and Fred Hampton's Rainbow Coalition. That was his brainchild. 20-year-old man got murdered at 21, but he was pulling people together from all walks of life, who had a common humanity, but also a common suffering. And he was letting folk know, white folk, Black folk, this is the condition under which we're suffering, but we don't have to stay here. Together we can fight. And that is what got him killed. But then I'm watching High on the Hog, and they're talking about the food program that fed the children, the breakfast program, and the afternoon, the lunch program, and that being the precursor to food in the schools. And I was like, okay, so it took regular ass people that didn't have a lot to make a commitment to feed the babies, right? The whole goal in High on the Hog, they interviewed one of the Black Panther members that actually, he was 18 at the time. And I think about an 18-year-old boy from South Central California, Los Angeles, getting up every day to cook breakfast for children in his community. And I think, could that happen today? That, first of all, I was like, I can't see too many 18-year-olds getting up to do that. But what was the motivation? But it was a lot of 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds getting up every day to feed kids in their community, to read to children in their community. We focus on the guns, they said. We focus on the guns, the Black Panther with the guns and the afros and the black jackets and all of that in the streets. But we don't focus on the food program. But that was the most radical thing about the Black Panthers, that they were feeding their own community. And the government saw that as such a big threat that they co-opted it. Because what one brother said, once you feed the children and the parents know that you care about the children, if you care about my children, then let me come in and see what this is. And then they got involved. And once you got the parents involved, now you kind of understand, like, we can come together. And they started political parties, and they were really making an inroads. And I was like, whoa, could that happen today? That was all I was asking myself. Could this happen today? And is it happening? Because it's happening in different places. We've had a few food activists on the show, and we're going to have way more farmers and everyone, because I believe that this is the way forward, that we have to sustain ourselves, that we have to be in community with one another. We have to be in spaces where nobody is without a roof over their head and without food in their bellies, and it's not socialism, but maybe it's socialism. I don't know what to call it, but community. We shouldn't live in places where people have and people don't have. If you have, I have enough. I have enough. 866-801-8255. So if you have enough, then why do you store up so much that you can't take with you when somebody next door has nothing? I don't know how you can feel good looking over and seeing people hungry when you have a storehouse full. And I think the way in which we've been conditioned as well. I worked to get this. Well, I worked hard, and so you should work hard too. Pull yourselves up by your bootstrap. Blah blah blah. But the reality is, there will always be the poor. Yes, but they're before the grace of God. Like, and if we're talking as a nation, you ain't worked for nothing. You brought people over to work. And you beat people to death, and then you killed the rest of the people to steal the land. Like, stop. Let's stop with the false narratives. And it's okay, because we're all living here, and ain't nobody giving up nothing back to the native indigenous people. None of y'all are giving up your homes and your places to them, period. But let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. And even those of us who work hard and get up every day, don't you have enough? I know I do. I know, and I'm grateful to have enough. Which is why it's so easy to share. It's so easy to share when you're abundant. So there's that. But that Black Panther thing messed me up a little bit, because I was like, that's what took them out. That's why they're no longer here and viable. That and maybe some internal battles, because we're talking about 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. Brains ain't fully formed. But where were the adults? Where were the 50 and 60-year-old? Where were the adults during this time? Because I'm damn sure, the guides. I think about SNCC. Again, teenagers, college students, early 20s. And yes, they have the energy, but also the passion and the drive to get some stuff done. And where they falter is just because they're young. And that's okay. Youth are going to do youthful things, which is why you have to have elders that are respected, that they can come to, or even there to guide. But this is very doable, and it might be more important than you think. Matter of fact, I had a busy weekend. On Friday, I had a nice lunch with a tech person, a guru of tech, and we were talking about what the future should look like, and AI, and we're talking about the Latimer project, and how we need to interact with AI, and that we must be in AI, and that we have to get out of our own way and not wait, like get in. But now he said something. He said he's going to be on the show, John Pashmore, and he said, I don't want to scare your audience. And I was like, oh, you must tell the truth, even if it's scary. The truth is, if it's scary, we got to talk about it. So we're going to have this conversation all the way forward. Like, what kind of job should you be pushing yourself and your children into? Like, this new world is going to happen really quickly, with AI coming in, taking a lot of jobs that people think that they are going to be in for the rest of their lives. And you're not. These AI, these technologies will be having a moment. And that moment is going to end up in a way that I think many of us are not prepared. But you know what? If we are in community, we're prepared for everything, because nobody goes hungry and nobody goes without a home. Everybody's going to be taken care of, because we are also abundant in the midst of that. And a lot of these jobs, have changed. Like, I think about the coal mines, like, do you still want to work in a coal mine? Like, if technology now tells you all of the cars are going to be operating a certain kind of way, do you still want to work in a factory building cars? Like, at the end of the day, shouldn't you want to be ahead of the progress, because it's there hopefully to make our lives easier? But John said something about the people who are making this AI. They don't care about you, so you're gonna have to care about you, because they will not. And baked into the AI is a sense of not caring about you. So we're gonna have to be in it so that we can make sure that we're seen and heard and felt. But I'm gonna, make sure that this platform at least will be bringing all of the information, and I just want us to ponder and consider things.